don't have camera access at all now. See, y'all broke it. It's all your fault. I was doing fine. Everything was great. And then all of a sudden, y'all broke it. So now I got to deal with all this stuff. I got to come up with all this craziness. And it's all your fault. It's all your fault. So I'm going to just keep going with audio and you'll just have to listen. You're listening to Truth right here on Dr. Ken's Truth. And so what's up, everybody? Klonda, really? Yeah, it's technical issues. Y'all don't do this to Sherwin when he have technical issues, do you? Y'all don't do this to everybody else on YouTube when they have technical issues. Well, it's not my fault. I don't run it. You're blaming everybody except the person in the chair. I don't do technical. I don't do technical. So if I can't control the technical, then I can't control it. What am I to do? Restart my whole computer in the middle? No, I'm not doing that. But anyway, so who said that? I'm blocking Curly Q forever. Todd said right, thought he was a trained professional. Do you control your computer? When your computer goes out, what do? You call somebody? See, y'all talking trash. Y'all gonna talk trash already. Y'all gonna talk trash already. I tell you, boy, y'all talking trash just like Democratic. Just like Democratic. See, Quanda says something that distracted me. She said, "I don't fool with Sherwin and on the morning show." He's on YouTube like Monday through Friday at 7, so Central Time, 8 o'clock your time. So you might want to check it out. I'm just saying. By the way, speaking of Sherwin Hughes, I'm going to be hosting an election night show. I don't know if it's at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, but it'll be on Hughes Views 414 on YouTube. So we'll be chopping that up. 2 award-winning broadcasters / journalists / YouTube content creators / on and on and on and on and on. So make sure you hang out for that. I just want to Quanda say thanks, but no thanks. Okay. So speaking of weird, I don't understand or know exactly what a Democratic Socialist is. And we've been kicking this around. Hong is, almost 26 points in the lead. I don't think any Republicans would have to switch over and vote for her because they think Tom Tiffany will beat her because she gonna win by herself. And if she beats Democrats in the Democratic Party, that says a lot about Democrats. That says a lot about the party that half the country says that they support. It's just weird. I don't really understand it. It just makes no sense. And if you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, you're having some technical difficulties and camera's going weird. And so rather than restart my computer and wait for it to restart and do all that stuff, I just jump right back on and here we are. Because it looks better than my head being stuck in the middle. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put up my thumbnail, and then that way you'll be able to see that. So Todd said they're communists in sheep's clothes. Well, I came across an article in USA Today. Yeah, a little redundancy. And it's titled Democratic Socialists of America Propose Radical Overhaul of U.S. Government. It's an article in USA Today by Emily R. Condon. The subtitle says, Democratic Socialists of America want to fight for working class Americans by offering free health care and abolishing the U.S. Senate. What else does their workers deserve more platform say? Well, in looking at the summary, it really talks about the fact that the platform was released July 14th, 2026, includes proposals like free health care, free pre-K, and housing as a human right. I don't know how housing is a human right because it's a business. And once you tell people they got to put people in a house, then, people lose money. More Black people have their net worth tied up into a house. No, let me rephrase that. More of the net worth for Black people, more of it is tied up in housing and home ownership than anything else. It is the foundation for how much money you have. When you age and you get older, you become a senior citizen and your house is paid off. A big chunk of your net worth is in your house. And we're talking about people saying that you should have housing as a human right. While I understand that, it's not a right. Anyway, second point is it calls for abolishing the U.S. Senate, expanding the House of Representatives, replacing the two-party system with a multi-party democracy, and having Congress elect the president and the Supreme Court. Stupidity. So what they're doing is taking all of the power out of the people's hands, putting it in the House of Representatives, and having them put everything in. Isn't that how we got a tax in Milwaukee? Everybody said that we shouldn't have a referendum on it and the people shouldn't vote for it. The Common Council is better equipped to vote for it, and so now we have a tax. People who represent you taking advantage of you. That's the type of nonsense that happens in communist regimes. That's the type of thing that, let me see, Cuba, Venezuela, Soviet Union, and another another huge set of trash countries that have gone defunct have tried. It doesn't make any sense. The Democratic Socialists of America propose, and another point, ranked choice voting in all elections, removal of lobbyists and undisclosed dark money from financial politics or political financing. I can get with that. I wouldn't propose ranked choice. That's crazy. So basically, who runs the poll then? Oh, the same government controls the poll, and they get to say who's ranked first. It'll always be a Democratic Socialist or a Socialist. I don't know what the Democratic Social thing is, but among its social policies, they want a 32-hour work week. So I'm going to work less, but I'm going to spend more money. It makes no sense. Paid family leave. For how long? We already have paid family leave. How long do you get to leave and not work at your job and not do your job and get paid? Free education. K-12 is free. College is not. A livable minimum wage and aggressive wealth tax on large corporations. So let me get this right. I want to take money from rich people who own the businesses and hire the people and put money in the economy so that people can live. And we want to tax them so they pay more to the government to pay for the same thing. Hire less people and have less people control their future. So basically, you want to take over people's lives. You want to take over people's lives and have them be beholden to a group of people who miraculously are going to be in the House of Representatives. First of all, if you want to expand the House of Representatives, it's too big already. 535? No. How many people? 435 people? And another 100 people in the Senate for 535 total for Congress? Makes no sense at all. Makes no sense. Look at what happened in New York. Companies are moving out of New York so fast, billionaires are moving out of New York so fast that they don't even have the amount of money needed to run the city. In their last point, it calls for dismantling police departments and the prison system. So when people commit a crime, how do you make people whole? Well, you can't catch them because there's no police. Because you think everything is a social problem. You can just fix people. You don't have a prison system, so no one will have to pay for their crimes. So we live in an era of a social contract that's been around since time immemorial that basically says that as a human being, we should follow what was loosely known as the Ten Commandments, now known as, other things like our U.S. Constitution. And there should be a moral compact that we shouldn't harm each other. But when you do, sometimes we have to remove you from society. Well, they're saying don't remove you from society because we're going to dismantle not only the people that catch you, the police, but we're going to dismantle the prison system that holds you and takes you away from a community so it can be safe. We want to end mass incarceration of who? Stop committing crime. It's easy. And provide civilian oversight of law enforcement. So we're going to get a group of people who don't know what they're doing, who's never been trained, who doesn't understand how law enforcement works, who isn't tied up to, who doesn't understand the Constitution of the United States of America, doesn't understand what the Supreme Court said. And they're going to flood the House of Representatives and the presidency and the U.S. Supreme Court to only do what they wanted to do. And that way, they'll control everything. Does that even sound right? Does it even sound right? I say no. So my question was, are democratic socialists Democrats? And to be honest with you, I have to say no. Their platform just makes no sense. And so when you take a close look at their platform, let's go through some of the steps that they talk about, because anything that they would do would just make inflation worse. But it wouldn't matter. Inflation wouldn't matter because you wouldn't make any money anyway. You know what happens when you flood too much money into a market? When there's a minimum wage that everybody makes the same. People need to understand that we don't get paid the same because no one is the same. No one is. Some people have experience that other people don't have. So everybody shouldn't make the same amount of money. That's just how life is. Anyway, economy and workers. They believe in strong labor unions and collective bargaining rights. They believe in a higher minimum wage and living wages. But what are those? There's no detail here. Worker ownership through cooperatives and employee-owned businesses. Guaranteed paid family leave, sick leave, and vacation. We already have that. Greater regulation of large corporations and financial institutions. Like what? Progressive taxation. We have it already, including higher taxes on the wealthiest individuals and corporations. They already pay more. So when you use these percentages and say the average person pays 23% or 10% or whatever, and corporations pay 3%, they pay through the people. So every time they hire somebody, they got to pay half of their FICA and their Social Security, well, maybe FICA, to the federal government. 7.14%. They got to pay to the federal government for every single employee. So if you've got 1 million employees, let's say you have 1,000 employees, you're paying for every dollar you pay them, you got to pay 7.14% every time you pay them. Multiply that times 52 weeks. Multiply that times 1,000 employees, and you're talking a substantial amount of money. These large corporations hire tens of thousands of people and pay through the nose to the federal government, but they won't tell you that. Now let's look at healthcare. They want universal single-payer Medicare for all. Ask Canada, who comes here for healthcare, those with the money. Ask basically any country in Europe that has socialized healthcare, and the United Kingdom, Great Britain, how it works. Lower drug prescription costs. I can see that. Drug companies are just milking the system because the medical system is broken as it relates to, we won't really cure anything because we make too much money on it, like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, all those things that ail Black people. Universal mental health, dental, and vision coverage. Again, who pays for it? Now let's look at education. They want tuition-free public colleges and universities. Who pays for all this? Where's all this money coming from? If you total up everybody, think Think about this. If you pick just one of these, 367 million people in America, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, legal, illegal, tack another 10 million on that just to be conservative. It's probably 20, but let's make it 10. We're talking 177, roughly 180,000 people, million people that we would have to pay for free school, free healthcare, free lodging, higher minimum wage. So who pays for that? If all the billionaires and trillionaires gave you all their money, it still wouldn't be enough. What does that mean? That means we would have to start paying. Now let's look at housing. Affordable housing as a right. What does that mean? That if you want to live somewhere, you have to? I don't know. Expansion of public and social housing. What is social housing? What is public housing? Pretty much every public housing unit, those high rises they built in Chicago, Cabrini Green, and on, they didn't work. They became a concrete ghetto because you had the lowest bidder building it because you wanted to save money, and so it was trash. So the wear and tear that would take a normal house 30 years to wear down, it wore down in 3 years. So then what? And I'm just throwing arbitrary numbers out. Expansion of public and social housing, stronger tenant protections, rent stabilization. There's the problem. Rent control. So if you own property right now, and if you're making your money in real estate with residential homes like Airbnb or just renting out a house or duplex, you're done. The government's coming in and taking care of it. Efforts to reduce homelessness. Does that count the people that want to be homeless, or does that count the people that were homeless because they lost their house? Climate and environment. I'm skipping that one because that won't upset me too much. Civil rights. Strong protections against discrimination. You can't stop discrimination. Everybody discriminates. Everybody discriminates. Criminal justice reform. In what manner? Police accountability. We already have them. Voting rights expansion. Like what? What voting rights are you going to expand? You can't move. If I want to go from place to place, how do you facilitate me? Because housing is free now, right? Under the Democratic Socialists of America plan, housing is free. So if I'm a Republican, I want to move into a Democratic place. And if I'm a Democrat, I want to move into a Republican area. I want to jack the vote. What do I do? How do I move? Who pays for that? I don't know. Immigration, easier pathway to citizenship for undocumented migrants. How about they leave? How about the fact that they're overrunning places to the point where the community can't control it and they can't afford it? And the only people paying for it are taxpayers who own homes. So I pay for upkeep. I was looking at my water bill today, blew my mind. The amount of money that I paid for water was $30. The amount of money I paid for fees for nonsensical things like sewage, water treatment. I pay $14 4 times a year for, so that's $56 a year for street lights that don't work on my block. That totaled, all the fees that went with my bill costs $80. By the time they were done with taxes and fees and all that, my water was $30, but my bill was $256. So what does that tell you? If you think that's going to get worse, it is. Who's going to run all that? What about democracy and government? Campaign finance reform? Okay, I can get with that. Depends on what it is. Public financing of elections? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Unless everybody got the same amount of money? Absolutely not. Ranking choice voting or proportional representation supported by many Democratic Socialists? No way. Statehood for DC? Nope. And expanding voter access. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. And then social programs, universal child care. How about the parents take care of your kids? Because y'all going to be, oh, that's right. Y'all going to send them to work and work them to death so that you can tax them so you can get the money so you can pay for everything. Got it. What about expanded Social Security benefits? Social Security is just that, Social Security. It was never meant to be your income when you retire. What we need is better education for people to invest and make sure they save up for their own retirement. And that way, everybody wins. Guaranteed access to food and nutrition programs. So now the government's going to tell me what's nutritious and what's not, what I can eat and what I can't. And then expanded unemployment and disability benefits. Well, if I give you free housing, free electric, free gas, free transportation, free health care, why would I need to go to work? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. So here's how democratic socialism differs from traditional socialism. They believe democratic socialists generally advocate achieving change through democratic elections and constitutional processes. The problem is, just like socialists, they control it. Maintain civil liberties and competitive elections. They agree. I agree, but they control it. They rank them. A mixed economy in which some industries remain privately owned while certain essential services such as healthcare utilities may be publicly owned or more heavily regulated. What does that mean? That means that it'll fail like every other country that tries to take over industry. Look at how China does. To do business in China, they control how much money you make. They control how many children you have. They got over 1 billion people there. They control everything in your life. Who wants to live like that? It's terrible. And then, of course, finally, greater worker participation in economic decision making. Huh? Makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And so those of you that think Francesca Hong is the real deal, you should not worry about what you're going to get, because they don't talk about what you're going to lose. So if you ask yourself the question, are democratic socialists Democrats? I have to say no. They're absolutely not. Don't fall for the okie doke. It's unfortunate. Let me check the YouTube chat and go through here because y'all been beating me up. Go back to what Todd said. It's a communist just in sheep's clothes. Yep. Todd said they all failed. It just causes worse inflation. Yes, it does. Most certainly does. Todd said anarchy. And then Sincere Runner Real said, I thought Canada had free health care. They come here. Well, they do have free health care, but they tend to, like, if you're older, they tend to not really. This is how it works. Am I going to spend? See, here's the cool thing about America. If you have the money, or if the way the system works is if you're sick, you go to the hospital, they got to stabilize you. Now, it might cost too much. I think that's true because it's a closed system. But you still get help and you still get to go to the doctor. Canada, you break a hip. Like here, if you get older and you need a new hip or a new knee, you get one. Not so in Canada. If you're too old, you may not get it. You might not get that new hip or that arm fixed soon enough. Think about what happens if you break your arm and you're too old. You'll be waiting to get in. There's a line because it's free, right? So people just line up and they wait and they take them in order. Or it's a broke arm. It's not life-threatening, so you'll have to wait. Meanwhile, your arm is setting, and if it sets wrong, then you're just stuck. And now your arm is deformed and it's sitting all crazy because they decided that you're not worthy of receiving health care. And so free really doesn't mean anything. Free really doesn't give you the opportunity to come in and be able to get help when you need it, because now you got to stand in line like everybody else. If you want to know how it worked, Look at how voting worked with COVID. Look at how it worked. Everybody had to wait in line. Everybody had to stand there, and they decided when you got to go in. It just makes no sense. Makes no sense. L. Dawson said, if you think you lost a lot now, go ahead and elect Francesca. Yeah. Yeah. You think you lost it. They think they got momentum. Seattle's turning into a dump because they have a socialist mayor. New York is going to turn into a bigger dump because they got a socialist mayor. These are the same people that argue and complain that having a voter ID is racist and that having a voter ID stops people from voting. These same people, to get their welfare benefits, have to show an ID. These same people, when they go buy liquor, cigarettes, certain types of prescription medicine, have to show their ID. If they got it there, why can't they show the ID when they vote? Makes absolutely no sense. As Triple R said, in America, if you got finance, you can freelance. True. And if you don't have finance, you still get to go to the doctor. You still get to. I have no problem with helping people, especially medically. There should be a form of healthcare that people can get that doesn't cost a lot. But because it's a closed society, and in that it's the only way to get in is you got to take a test. It's like lawyers, medical doctors, certain professions, accounting. It's closed so they can control how much money you make because you don't speak the language. We're talking about an entire occupation of lawyers that's built on a dead language, Latin. We're talking about medical doctors that use words and make them up so that the general public can't understand it and they have to come to them as an expert. It just makes no sense. Makes no sense. By the way, we're in voting season. I want to remind you, August 11th, Sherwin and I will be on Hughes Views 414 on YouTube discussing what's going on. Speaking of voting, I got a poll. What's your preferred voting style? Is your preferred voting mail, early in person, or in person on election day? I wonder. That's going to tell a lot. Todd said, gray and ugly, just like Russia. Yep. Hey, what's up, Sir Chance? How's it going? It's really bad. It's not pretty at all. And until we pay attention to what it is, it will sound pretty. I'm telling you, if you go back and read the Communist Manifesto, and if you read the writings of Karl Marx, in your mind, you will think this is one of the greatest books you've ever read in your life. No, it won't be tonight, Todd. It'll be on August 11th. You'll think it's one of the greatest books in the world. You'll read that book and go, oh my God, this is utopia. Exactly. And then you put human beings in the mix and everything goes south. Right? Because the one thing you have to understand about socialism is everybody's equal. The problem is those people they want to put into the House of Representatives and those people they want to put in the presidency and the people they want to put in the Supreme Court, everybody's equal. Some people are more equal than others. And that's why you have a Politburo in Russia and you have them telling everybody else what they should do and you should just listen to them. They know better. And it doesn't work. And the country fell apart. And now they're trying to rebuild communism by taking over countries because those countries have minerals. Those countries have businesses. Those countries have oil. Those countries have money. And they realize that socialism does not work. And so now they just want to come in and take all your stuff and use it for themselves. So if that's what you want in America, after you've worked hard, gone to school, work in an industry that you love, work at a job that you might not love, but you're able to feed your family, feed yourself. When I control where you live, I tell you where you live. If I control how much money you have, I can tell you how much you can eat. I can tell you how much you can drink. I can tell you what time you need to go to sleep, what time you need to wake up. It's about control. And that's the problem with socialism. The only way to control the money is to control the people. And the only way to control the people is to control the money. So if that's how you want to live, if that's how you want to breathe, go right ahead. If we think your industry is causing too much pollution, we won't tell you to stop. We'll just pass a law and shut down your business. We'll just come in and take it. Government will come in and take it over. It's my business now. That's what China does. Is that how you really want to live? L. Dawson said it. It's slavery. Just buy a new name. Instead of working for a big business, you'll work for the government. It's the same. Watch this. If you have a chain around your neck and it's attached to a leash, do you really care who's holding it? You're still shackled. And it's unfortunate, but that is the life they're going to give you. Hey, what's up, Jasmine? Jazz West. Hey, I had a little technical difficulty, so I'm just doing the whole audio thing, and you just have my thumbnail about my opening question. Are Democratic Socialists Democrats? My answer to that is no. We have a two-party system. We should keep it. They want to get rid of the two-party system. Do we need a third party? Sure. Socialists? If they want to run, sure. I don't care. If that's who you want to vote for, vote. Just think about all the things you're going to lose. Think about all the things you won't have. Your car, because everybody, you can't drive a Mercedes, you can't drive a BMW, you can't drive an Audi, you can't drive a Volvo, you can't drive a high-end Cadillac, you can't drive an Escalade, you can't drive a Tahoe, can't drive a Suburban, can't drive a pickup truck. No, we've decided based on your family, you need a Yugo. You need a little itty bitty car. You only got 4 people. We'll just get you a car that holds 4 people. And you won't need to travel because there's really nowhere to go because we're going to control because airplanes put out too much exhaust. And so too much exhaust, you're going to ruin the environment. So we can't fly those. Oh, and now we got too many cars. Just drive public transportation. There will be a line at the bus stop to get on the bus. What used to take you an hour, half hour, 40 minutes would take you 3 hours to get to work. You can live on 76th Street and it take you 3 hours to get downtown because you got to wait in line for the bus. I mean, that's the kind of nonsense we would have to put up with. That's the kind of idiocy we would have to put up with. But those are the things we want, right? Well, be careful. You just might get it. Top 5 before 5 up next.
Number 5.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. They said they only heard number 5. Technical things are happening. So let me go back. This from CBS 58. 2 people in Michigan have died in connection with the outbreak of cyclosporiasis. Is that how you say it? Anyway, that was reported today. They're the first known deaths related to the multi-state outbreak of explosive diarrhea in the United States. That's got to be a heck of a way to die. Explosive diarrhea. Sincere Ronnie Ray Real said this guy, hey, StreamYard must be having some technical issues, and therefore I'm having technical issues. So relax. Making me feel defensive. You're making me feel defensive, Sincere. Where you at, by the way? Are you in Wisconsin, or are you driving all out west? Matter of fact, answer that question in the chat. Do you drive west, or do you drive all over the country? Anyway, that's from cyclosporiasis are far from common, as the infection is generally not a life-threatening illness. So they've had 11,234 cases in the U.S., 193 people hospitalized, and now 2 deaths. So that's kind of scary. That is, yeah, that's kind of scary. And somebody's trying to come into the basement. What you want? I'm live on YouTube. What you want? Hello. Well, if it feels too good and it sounds too good, it probably is.
Number 4.
From fox6now.com. A Wisconsin woman thought she was protecting her money from identity thieves. Instead, she almost lost everything. So here's the deal. A cell phone video, the woman is seen packing $131,000 worth of gold coins into an envelope. She would later hand the coins over to a courier as part of an elaborate scheme. Mary, who's from Oshkosh, said, it's a total nightmare. By the time the scam was over, she lost, get this, $433,000 and was $30,000 in debt. She said her IRA was wiped out. She had $3.09 in her savings account. It started when she clicked on a pop-up ad that appeared to be from her financial company. The scammers immediately locked her computer. She got a phone call from a man who identified himself as being from her finance company. He said, you've been hacked. How would he know that? Anyway, over the next 3 months, scammers impersonated government officials, Better Business Bureau. They sent her forged documents, created a fake bank account for transactions, pursued Mary to take steps, buy gold that she thought would protect her money from hackers. I scrimped and saved and did without for 40 years to have a nice retirement. And the scammers said they're helping me secure all this. And the scammers also had her sign a non-disclosure in exchange for their help. So I couldn't tell my children, I couldn't tell my friends, I couldn't tell the police. Really? Mary's among 3 scam victims who reported liquidating their assets to gold in the BBB in recent weeks. That's the Better Business Bureau. They combined their losses to around $3 million. So Lisa Schiller of the Better Business Bureau serving Wisconsin explained, because gold is doing so well now, that is simply for safekeeping. So they're urging the public to stay vigilant. And if anyone asks you to buy gold, move funds, meet a courier, stop communication immediately, and contact authorities. There's definitely a sense of urgency, a sense of pressure, a sense of panic. If you tell somebody you need to wait a day and they tell you no, it's probably a scam. Makes absolutely no sense. Makes no sense. I don't get it. Oh, and by the way, Milwaukee has competition. We talked about it last week for the Wild Wild West. Wonder who that might be.
Number 3.
So from CBS 58, from WISN 12. Click too far. 4 people are in custody following an exchange of gunfire during a attempted vehicle theft at a Glendale, Wisconsin apartment complex this morning. Glendale police said officers were called to North Sydney Place near Mill Road about 1:45 a.m. for a report of armed people attempting to steal a vehicle. The officers responded. Police said gunfire was exchanged between the people involved. One person was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and WISN 12 news crew saw officers from Glendale and Whitefish Bay investigating in the parking lot of the Glen Hills apartments. Police tape surrounded part of the area. Dozens of evidence markers were placed on the ground around a vehicle. Police said a 33-year-old Glendale man and 29-year-old Glendale woman, 17-year-old Milwaukee boy, and a 17-year-old Sheboygan boy are in custody, and police have not said which person was shot or what charges could be filed, but said there is no further risk to the public. Yeah. So let me get this right. Don't have to go to Milwaukee. Don't have to go to Glendale. Well, I guess not Whitefish Bay, too, because it really is the Wild, Wild West.
Number 2.
From CBS 58, a 41-year-old man was fatally stabbed near 94th and Adler today. Neighbors nearby captured the chaotic scene that unfolded early morning on cell phone video. In the video, a large group of people can be seen arguing. Then several people start screaming and fled the scene. According to Milwaukee police, they were called to the scene just before 4 a.m. The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The police say the incident is believed to have stemmed from a fight. 34-year-old man was arrested, is in custody, and the case is ongoing. That's unfortunate. That is really unfortunate. It really gets scary. It's unfortunate. We keep seeing this same thing over and over, and we won't do anything about it. People get mad, people get stabbed, people get shot, all sorts of things are happening, and we just won't do anything. What do you think would happen if the socialists win and they take over and get rid of the police? Well, you tell me.
Number 1.
This from CBS 58 in Milwaukee's Silver City neighborhood. A convenience store with a boarded up window has a handwritten message barely visible from the street. It says, "Yes, we're open." The owners of the store on 38th and National want their neighbors to know that 2 break-ins in July will not shut them down. It's only the 3rd of August, and they've had 2 then and 1 now. They emptied our lottery display. They took a lot of our food. We sell a lot of personal hygiene products and cleaning products. Took a lot of that too. Co-owner Jessica Jimenez is talking about 2 burglaries that happened 2 weeks apart. The robbers, seen on security video, took boxes of food and merchandise, and in one of the break-ins, they smashed a window. We're talking about a small family-run business, and the losses are tough to overcome, but Since the break-ins, the owners have increased their security and they want people to know that they are still open. Can you imagine what would happen if you gave everybody food, you gave everybody free food, free cars, free transportation, free housing, and they decided that somebody else had something bigger than theirs? Unless you're going to tear down all the houses and make them all the same, you're going to have to live with this. And if somebody decides that they want your house, you've got no police to stop them, and you've got no prison system to put them in. They're going to do whatever they want. They're going to take your house. They're going to take your car. Makes absolutely no sense. Let me go to the YouTube chat and see what you all are talking about. Y'all was beating me up. Let me go through this and see. I think last time I left off, I was asking Sincere a question. Todd is right. The problem is your fault. Sincere say he's over the road all over the country in it. I guess Todd is mad at me. He said the Bears still suck. But they beat Milwaukee twice. So we'll be talking about Todd. I see who I'm going to be watching a game with this fall. When the Bears play the Packers, I am going to invite. Maybe we'll do a watch party. We'll do a watch party, and I will invite Study Hall to come show up. Todd says, Sincere, when the toll booths still had a person in them, I would say to Bears, they would smile, and as I drove away, I would say they still suck. See, I would dare you to say it while you were there in front of their face and see what happens. I bet you didn't get through the toll. I would let you pay and then not give you money to get through the toll. I would take your money out of it and put it in my pocket. Be like, nah, and you still can't go through the toll, and you didn't pay again. That's what I would do. Milwaukee, what? Yeah, Jasmine, a football watch party. The whole group will come together in a place, and we'll watch the Packers and the Bears. How's that? Better? Okay. Let me check this toll, put an end on the poll. See, I'm thinking about Sincere too much. What way do you prefer voting? So the question was it the suggestions, in-person election day, early in-person or mail? And 63% said in-person election day, early in-person was 38, and 0 said mail. Wow. Jasmine said, I'm down. Have you been to Soldier Field, Todd? I don't think so. Because if you probably would have went to Soldier Field with a Packer hat on or something, that would have been crazy. Terrible. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna show up and we're gonna have a watch party. Now I got to check the Packers schedule. So was it 2026? 27? I'm going to type it in now. Packers schedule. Got to see when they play the Bears. The Bears. They play October 11th. And they play December 25th. So there you go. October 11th, they play at 3:25 in the afternoon. Perfect. Everybody can show up. We can have a party. And whoever loses, we'll have to come up with a, I'm not going to say bet because that might be illegal. Come up with a wager. Maybe I'll wear a Packer hat. I don't know. And, you would have to wear a Bears hat. There you go. There you go. I'm gonna buy a big, pretty one, like a big cowboy hat, like a 50-gallon hat from Texas that says Chicago Bears. And you got to wear it walking downtown. Yep, that's it. I want to say thanks for everybody for hanging out. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Watch this. Blame it on me. I'm a boomer. That's probably what Quanda would do. I'm okay. Thanks everybody for hanging out. God bless. Take care. Be safe. Weather 76 degrees. High today was 79. 1% chance of rain. So make sure you take it easy. Relax. God bless. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of cheapest today. I might hop on later. Won't hop on during Sherwin, but we do it a little before, a little after. Who knows? Depends on what he says. Make sure you hit the notification on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss a show. I will see you on tomorrow. Who knows what's up? I'm out. Pick your head.
Quiet.